Ocean, a machine is moving in complete silence. It's 560 feet long, heavier than a skyscraper, and inside its black hull sit 192 nuclear warheads. Each one is 30 times more powerful than Hiroshima. Combined, this single submarine carries more destructive force than every bomb dropped in World War II. Every single one. The Soviet Union spent decades trying to find it. They failed. China has tried. They failed. Because USS Ohio doesn't just hide in the ocean, it becomes the ocean. No satellite can see it, no sonar can track it, no enemy knows where it is. And that's exactly the point. This is the story of the most powerful weapon platform ever built, and why its greatest victory is that you've never heard it fire a shot. The order comes encrypted, presidential authorization, Secretary of Defense confirmation, two-person verification at every step, 15 minutes from decision to launch. But here's the problem every nuclear strategist has nightmares about. Those 15 minutes are meaningless if the enemy destroys your weapons first. Land-based missiles, fixed coordinates, easy targets, bomber bases, visible from space, vulnerable. But a ballistic missile submarine, 600 feet below the surface, cruising silently through 139 million square miles of ocean, invisible. An Ohio-class submarine on patrol is quieter than the background noise of the ocean itself, quieter than whales, quieter than rain hitting the surface. Intelligence agencies have burned billions trying to track these submarines. They can't. And that creates something unprecedented in military history: guaranteed retaliation. You can't win a nuclear war if you can't destroy the enemy's ability to strike back. And you can't destroy what you can't find. At that moment, the scale of American capability became impossible to ignore. If you value this level of analysis, please hit that like button. It helps us continue producing breakdowns like this. Subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss what comes next. Now, back to what this capability truly changed. This is why USS Ohio exists. Not to start wars, to prevent them. The ultimate promise: touch us, and we will end you. We don't care if you destroy our cities first. These submarines will survive, and they will respond. That's not a threat, it's physics. The Cold War is at its most dangerous. The Soviet Union is building submarines faster than America can count them. Delta-class boats, Yankee-class boats, each carrying 12 to 16 nuclear missiles. The numbers are closing. But the Soviets have a fatal weakness: range. Their missiles force them to patrol close to American shores to hit targets deep inside the continental US, close enough that US Navy attack submarines can hunt them, close enough to die. American subs have the opposite problem. The Poseidon missiles on 1970s boats have roughly 2,500-mile range, adequate, but not dominant. To cover all Soviet targets, American SSBNs still have to patrol in contested waters. The Pentagon's requirement is brutal. Build a submarine that can hide in the middle of the Pacific and still hold Moscow at gunpoint. July 1st, 1974. Electric Boat gets the contract. The specs are insane. 560 feet long, the largest attack submarine ever built in America. 42-foot diameter hull, 24 ballistic missiles, 90 days submerged without surfacing, silent enough to disappear completely. The impossible part? It has to work the first time. No prototypes, no test models. Build it, launch it, and send it to sea, carrying enough firepower to end human civilization. April 10th, 1976. Groton, Connecticut. Workers lay the keel for SSBN 726, but most of the submarine isn't even in Groton yet. Electric Boat has invented something revolutionary: Modular submarine construction. Massive 42-foot diameter steel cylinders, each one forged from HY-80 high-tensile steel, are being built 100 miles away in Rhode Island. They're then transported by barge and welded together like segments of a colossal pipe. But the real engineering nightmare is the missile compartment. 24 vertical tubes, each one 44 feet tall. Each one has to hold a 130,000-pound missile. Each one has to withstand crushing deep ocean pressure. And each one has to launch sequentially without tearing the submarine apart. The solution? Build the tubes directly into the hull structure. 2 rows of 12, positioned aft of the sail. Each tube is its own pressurized capsule, sealed independently. Every weld is X-rayed, every seam is tested ultrasonically. A single failure at depth means implosion, instant death for everyone aboard. April 7, 1979, USS Ohio slides into the Thames River. $1.2 billion in construction costs, 3 years of round-the-clock work. A black steel monster displacing 18,750 tons. But launching the hull is just the beginning. Installing the reactor, sonar, fire control systems, and crew quarters takes another 2.5 years. November 11, 1981, USS Ohio is commissioned. The beast is awake.
Let's talk about what USS Ohio actually carries. Initially, 24 Trident I C-4 missiles, each missile 8 warheads. Each warhead 100 kilotons. But even as Ohio was being built, the Trident I was obsolete. Enter the Trident II D5, the most devastating weapon ever deployed at sea. 44 feet tall, 130,000 pounds, range 7,500 nautical miles, payload up to 12 MIRVs per missile. A single Trident II can hit targets on the other side of the planet. From the middle of the Pacific, an Ohio-class sub can strike Moscow, Beijing, Tehran, and Pyongyang simultaneously. The warhead, W-88, 475 kilotons, 30 times Hiroshima, per warhead. Do the math? 24 missiles times 8 warheads equals 192 nuclear weapons on one submarine. Even after treaty compliance reduced the loadout to 20 missiles, that's still 160 warheads. For context, the entire explosive yield of World War II, every bomb, every artillery shell, every munition detonated from 1939 to 1945 is estimated at 3 megatons. One Ohio-class submarine carries 76 megatons. And the launch sequence? Perfected. Ripple fire. Tube 1, then Tube 24. Tube 2, then Tube 23, alternating to maintain balance. Older subs, like USS George Bancroft, needed 56.6 seconds per missile, almost 15 minutes for a full salvo. Ohio-class fire control systems can empty all 24 tubes in under 6 minutes. 6 minutes to deploy more firepower than humanity has ever used in warfare. And the accuracy? The Trident II's guidance system can drop a warhead within 90 meters of its target after traveling 7,500 miles. Close enough to destroy underground bunkers, close enough to take out hardened missile silos. This isn't a city killer, it's a civilization killer. October 1st, 1982, USS Ohio departs on its first patrol. 70 days, completely submerged, no communication except brief, one-way encrypted messages. This is life in the silent service. 155 crew members, 140 officers, 140 enlisted. Packed into a steel tube. No sunlight, no fresh air, no contact with the outside world. The sub runs on an 18-hour day cycle. 6 hours work, 6 hours sleep, 6 hours personal time. The galley operates continuously,
Enlisted sailors sleep in triple-stacked bunks. Officers share tiny staterooms. Only the captain and XO have private quarters. And they do this for 3 months straight. But here's the genius of the system. 2 crews, blue crew and gold crew. While one patrols, the other rests. When the boat returns to port, they swap. Maximum time at sea, minimum downtime. During patrol, no one knows where the submarine is. Not the Navy, not the Pentagon, not even other US submarines. The patrol area is a general ocean region, thousands of square miles. The exact coordinates, depth, and heading? Known only to the commanding officer. Signals are strictly one way. The sub receives extremely low-frequency ELF radio signals that penetrate seawater, but it never transmits, never acknowledges, never responds. Because any transmission can be detected, triangulated, targeted. Silence is survival. And so USS Ohio disappears for months, gliding through the black depths, carrying the end of the world in its missile tubes, waiting for an order that, if everything works, will never come. Since 1945, no nuclear weapon has been fired in anger. Not because we've achieved world peace, not because nations don't hate each other anymore, but because of submarines like USS Ohio. 14 Ohio-class SSBNs remain operational today. 4, including Ohio itself, were converted to cruise missile platforms, but the remaining 14 carry half of America's active nuclear arsenal. They patrol continuously: Atlantic, Pacific, Arctic, Indian Ocean. You will never see them surface. You will never know where they are. You will never hear them fire. And that's the entire point. The Ohio class doesn't exist to win nuclear wars. It exists to make them impossible. The logic is brutal and simple. Even if an enemy executes a perfect first strike, destroys every American ICBM silo, every bomber base, every command center, the submarines survive, and they respond. One Ohio-class boat carries more nuclear firepower than most countries possess in their entire military. 14 of them, scattered across the world's oceans, represent an extinction-level event. This is deterrence in its purest form. If you kill us, we kill you. We don't care if you strike first. These submarines will end your civilization. Guaranteed. It's not a bluff, it's engineering. For 40 years, USS Ohio and her sisters have patrolled in silence. Billions spent, elite crews, the most sophisticated machines ever built. And their greatest success? Nothing has happened. No launches, no attacks, no nuclear war. Because every potential adversary knows, the moment they start something, Ohio-class submarines finish it. The hull number SSBN 726 rarely surfaces. It doesn't make port calls. It doesn't participate in public exercises. It simply vanishes into the ocean and reappears months later. Mission complete. This is American power at its most absolute. Not the demonstration of force, but the certainty that force exists and will be used. USS Ohio doesn't carry 24 apocalypses because we want to end the world. It carries them so no one is insane enough to make us choose. That's deterrence. That's the silent service. And that's why the most powerful weapons ever created remain exactly where they should be: submerged, silent, unused.